If you found out your neighbor was $1 million in debt, you'd think they were failing. But when a country is $1 trillion in debt, the world treats it like a success. Imagine a kid named Leo. Leo is staring at a massive tree in his backyard with a plan. He wants to build a treehouse with a telescope, but Leo hits a concrete wall immediately. To build a dream this big, he needs professional power tools. His weekly allowance? $5. Leo looks at his piggy bank and realizes something soul-crushing. At this rate, he'll have enough money for the wood in about 3 years. By then, he'll be too old for tree houses. The summer will be a memory, and his dream will be a piece of paper in a trash can. This is the first big realization. Waiting to afford something is often just a slow way of losing the opportunity forever. But Leo refuses to lose. He goes to the older teenager down the street, Marcus, who owns a high-end construction kit. Leo makes a proposal.
Give me the tools and the wood today. In return, I'll mow your lawn every single Saturday for the next 3 months.
Marcus isn't just a neighbor. He's an investor now. He sees a future of perfectly manicured lawns, and Leo gets his dream today. They shake on it. Leo builds the treehouse. But here's the twist. The moment the last nail is driven in, Leo isn't free. He looks down from his balcony and sees Marcus standing on his lawn. He points at the grass, then at his watch. The clock is ticking. This pressure Leo feels? This is the hidden heartbeat of the world. When you hear that the US is $36 trillion in debt, don't imagine a person who lost their wallet. Imagine Leo looking at Marcus's stopwatch. Countries are grabbing the future by the throat and pulling it into the now to build highways and satellites. But they are doing it with a calendar pinned to their chests. Every bridge you drive on is a promise that someone, somewhere, is sweating to mow the lawn of the global economy before the timer hits 0. The treehouse is a hit, but success creates a new, dangerous problem. Every kid in the county wants to visit. The backyard is turning into a swamp of mud, and because there are no lights, kids are tripping over roots and getting hurt. The parents are starting to complain. If Leo doesn't fix this, the neighborhood association will shut him down by Friday. Leo and his friends check the project jar. They've collected $1,000 in entry fees, but a paved path and solar lights cost $1,500. They have a $500 gap, a budget deficit. Instead of giving up, Leo's friend Sarah has a radical idea. They start printing golden stickers. They go to the neighbors and say,
We need $100 from you today to build the path. If you give it to us, you get this golden sticker. It's a promise. In 5 years, we'll give you your $100 back, plus $50 extra just for being a hero.
They buy the stickers because it feels safer than a bank. Investors from all over the world see the bright lights and think, that project is stable. They start buying stickers by the thousands. They are using Leo's yard as a safe place to hide their money from the storms of the outside world. But here is where the magic becomes a life or death tightrope walk. 5 years pass. Sarah walks up to Leo, but she's not alone. A line of neighbors stands behind her, clutching their stickers.
Time's up,
They say.
We want our $100 and our bonuses now.
Leo's stomach drops. He doesn't have the cash, but he spots a new family moving in across the street. He runs over with a new golden sticker and a desperate sales pitch. He sells them a new promise for $150. He takes that fresh cash, and before the neighbors can start shouting, he hands it straight to Sarah. The new family feels safe. But look at Leo's hands. They are shaking. He didn't pay the debt. He just traded an old promise for a bigger, heavier one. The debt grew. The stakes got higher. This is why the US has a debt ceiling. It's a line in the sand that says no more stickers. But every time they hit the line, the association realizes that if they stop selling new stickers, they can't pay the previous investors back. If they can't pay them, the trust dies. And if the trust dies, the lights go out and the neighbors come for the treehouse. So they move the line. They have to. The debt is the oxygen for the entire system. But now, the greed kicks in. The leaders of the association get addicted to the magic stickers. They stop building paths. They stop fixing lights. Instead, they borrow money to buy giant chocolate statues of themselves and throw massive parties. The association makes the decisions. Leo is just holding the promises. Suddenly, the neighbors start looking at the treehouse. It's rotting. The lights are flickering. They whisper,
Are they actually working? Or are they just selling stickers to pay for the old ones?
The moment the trust cracks, the game turns deadly. Neighbors stop buying stickers. To convince them, Leo has to promise $100 of bonus instead of $50, but he can't pay that either. This is the debt trap. This is exactly what happened to Sri Lanka in 2022. They hit a wall where the world stopped believing. As the neighborhood starts to burn, a black car pulls up. It's the IMF, the grumpy uncle. The grumpy uncle is the only one left with money, but he's here to perform surgery without anesthesia. He throws the chocolate statues in the trash and locks the piggy bank. He looks Leo in the eye and says,
No more snacks, no more games. You're going to raise the fees, work until dark, and pay back every sticker, even if it takes 20 years of misery.
It's a brutal, cold reality check. But while the uncle is shouting, Leo notices a mysterious kid in the back room with a magic crayon. The central bank. When nobody else will buy the stickers, this kid starts drawing money out of thin air to buy them. He thinks he's saving the day, but he's actually breaking the rules of the game. When the magic crayon starts drawing money that hasn't been earned, the stickers stop being golden. They just become paper. It's like adding a gallon of water to a tiny pot of soup. The neighbors realize that if the association can just draw its way out of trouble, then their own hard work doesn't matter anymore. The trust, which is the only thing keeping the treehouse standing, finally snaps. So, why can't we be debt-free? Some places actually do it. Take Macau, for example. It's a tiny island that sits on a mountain of casino cash and doesn't owe a cent to anyone. But Macau isn't a blueprint for the world. It's a fantasy that lives off everyone else's money. For a real, functioning country, being debt-free isn't a victory. Imagine the association holds an emergency meeting and screams, "We are paying it all off today." To reach zero, they'd have to stop fixing the lights, cancel all future projects, and squeeze every last cent out of the neighbors through massive fees. They'd even have to sell off the wood and the telescope just to settle the bill. The neighborhood would be a broken, empty lot. Look at the bank where you keep your savings. They don't have your cash in a vault. They have it invested in those golden stickers. Why? Because even if every business in town fails, the world believes the association will be the last one standing. If every country paid their debt tomorrow, the global economy would evaporate. In the real world, debt is the skeleton holding the entire body upright. If you remove it just to be lightweight, the whole system collapses. A country's debt isn't a measurement of how much it has lost. It's a scoreboard of how much the rest of the world believes in its tomorrow. We live in a world of promises. Debt is the only thing that allows us to live in the future before we've even arrived there. As long as we keep building better tree houses, the promises we make today will always be more valuable than the gold in our hands. If you want to support this channel, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching and stay curious.